I've been looking through your photo album. So many wonderful memories. I hope you don't mind. Are all your victims in here? Let me help you with that. Scream again and lose a tongue.
I helped them. I took their pain away.
They didn't ask you to do that.
They didn't have to. These goddamn people. Drinking and smoking till their hearts give out. Slaves to their own compulsions. Just like your father.
I already lost my mother. Harry's all I've got, and you tried to take him away from me.
That was the first time I ever felt someone else's fear. And I liked it.
Hello, all. Welcome back to What's On Tonight, a podcast with elaborate, quirky, and unpredictable conversations about TV, movies, and more. I'm Becky.
And I'm Dexter. No, I'm Mark. Hello, everybody.
Tonight is a very special episode for What's On Tonight. We are covering Dexter Original Sin Season 1. Please note this is a spoiler-filled podcast. So if you haven't watched the show yet and don't want to be spoiled, come back and check us out after you've finished watching. So we want to welcome Mark. Mark is the master of all when it comes to podcasts, and he is the reason why Mandy and I are able to do what we do with What's On Tonight. So a big welcome to him. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. We are so glad to have you.
No problem. And thank you for having me on. This is your podcast, not my podcast, people. Honestly, I'm just here because I do love the show Dexter, the original show. And I started watching Dexter Original Sin. And when Becky had asked me to come on, I said, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to be on. She's like, you need to be on the pit. You need to be on the pit. I'm like, yeah, I want to be on the pit, but I don't feel like I'm qualified for it. But I'm here now. I just love the idea of a serial killer who has some sort of a conscience for good. This is Original Sin via Dexter. I really do enjoy the show. So with that, Dexter Original Sin is an American crime drama mystery television series created by Clyde Phillips. Continuing from Dexter New Blood, the series' frame story sees vigilante serial killer Dexter Morgan on his deathbed, thinking back on his youth. Starting in 1991, 15 years before the first season of the original series, Dexter. The series premiered on December 13th, 2024 on Paramount Plus with Showtime.
I was very excited when I saw that this show is coming because, like you, I think it's fascinating having a serial killer who has I hate to say a moral code, but it for a serial killer, I guess it is a moral code.
It's like a hero vigilante.
Yeah.
At least he has a moral code that Harry actually brought him up on. And this is his origin history of how he became that hero vigilante.
Yeah, so I was very, very excited, especially with Michael C. Hall. Yeah. I love him from 6 Feet Under, and I was all on board. So when I saw this coming, I was like, oh my gosh. And it did not in any way disappoint. Before we get into talking about specific moments of the show, I'd like to start by talking about the cast. Our thoughts on them compared to their current day Dexter cast. I personally think they did a phenomenal job with this casting. So we'll start with Patrick Gibson, who, did you know, is Irish?
No, I did not know that.
When I saw that, I was like, no way. His accent is flawless. Absolutely flawless. He apparently took a lot of time really studying Michael C. Hall's Dexter, and it paid off because there were moments when his mannerisms, the way he spun around in his chair like Dexter does, the way he ate, that little sideways grin he's got, the way
his nuances
tried to seem normal but wasn't normal. He really did a phenomenal job encompassing what Michael C. Hall did with Dexter, bringing it to young Dexter. I'm so impressed with how they pulled that off.
I do enjoy an actor who actually goes back and actually looks at the previous actor who played the role and takes it in, the nuances, the mannerisms, the way they're able to enunciate and speak, especially if you're somebody of a different culture with different accent too.
Right.
Yeah, he's able to portray that particular character. And even with the wink at the end,
Yeah.
at the very beginning, as you see it, because it's the same old intro, the same intro music, but it's a new context in an old form in a sense of it being in the past. And he works it out perfectly. And if you put them side by side as being younger and older, you could see where, like, if he aged, he could age into Michael C. Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I think the production company was going for, how they were casting. Because honestly, you did your homework when it came to Michael C. Hall and representing him as the character. You're trying to play the same character in the same person, and your nuances and everything, your mannerisms are very much the same way.
It was creepy how alike they were.
It is. It is very, very creepy, but very much appreciated. So we should move on to the next one, shall we?
Uh-huh.
All right. So we have the one and only Christian Slater playing Mr. Harry Morgan. Oh my goodness. These are hard shoes to fill for somebody, because if you remember the original Dexter series, Harry Morgan was played by James Remar. He played Ajax in the movie The Warriors back in the 70s.
Oh my gosh, that was spoofed on What We Do in the Shadows.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
it
yes,
was
yes,
one of
yes.
our
That was one when they
episodes.
were escaping. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
He was Ajax in The Warriors. In this iteration of the past of Dexter and Original Sin, the one and only Christian Slater plays him. Very different person, very different in looks. Doesn't look exactly like James Remar, but gives the same conviction, same attitude. In this, we get more heart warmth acting into how he treats the other characters like Dexter, Deborah, even his fellow employees. But we all remember Mr. Christian Slater from spectacular films. And I have to go back to my Adrenaline Cinema. Well, Heathers in 1988.
Great movie.
He was also in The Legend of Billie Jean and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Mr. Kevin Costner. And as well as something that you and I covered at one point, Becky, Interview with a Vampire.
He was in Interview with the Vampire.
He was the interviewer.
Oh, in the movie. Okay, sorry. I was like, wait. I'm sorry, guys. I'm on the TV show. It's the TV show's coming back soon, and that's
Yep. Well, and we will all be coming back to do that on Adrenaline Cinema podcast for the Famcast. But anyhow, yeah, he was in the original movie, which we did cover on Adrenaline Cinema podcast as well. So thank you, Christian, and I loved his work in this season. Honestly,
he did a great job. He is the one character though that I enjoyed him. He's Christian Slater. Of course, he's going to do a phenomenal job,
Yeah.
whatever role you put him in. But it did take me out of it because he was so different from the original Dexter's Dad.
yes, he was very different from the portrayal that James Remar gave us in the original Dexter series.
Yeah.
As the ghost of Harry Morgan.
Yeah.
Then we had flashbacks that were very similar to what Christian did represent within this particular show. Even with the flashbacks that we got that were recreated from the original Dexter show to this particular show, we did get the same images to some degree for each scene.
Mm-hmm.
As we get along within it too, by the way, listeners, we're going to go into more in depth because this show got really deep and really dark. All right. Next up,
we have Molly Brown as the foul-mouthed, gives no shits Deborah Morgan. And while This is probably the one character outside of Christian Slater as Harry Morgan who didn't exactly look like Deborah, but she too did her homework.
Yeah, she
And
did.
the mannerisms, the attitude, the walk, the whole nine, she really sold me as a young Deborah Morgan. And I was very impressed with this young actress. I think she did a great job.
Yeah, same here. She actually impressed me with the foul mouth.
Yeah.
Because that was Deborah Morgan to a T, and that was definitely Jennifer Carpenter's character, as we all know. And I love Jennifer Carpenter. She's a beautiful woman. But in comparison, if you look at this show, in comparison to the original Dexter, Jennifer Carpenter's a lot taller. So she had a lot of growth spurts in between.
Yeah.
I'm curious to how they're going to actually do that within the show. But she does give the personality, the attitude, and charisma that is Deborah Morgan, and who we find out at the very end. Spoilers. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah. And we said it's a spoiler-filled podcast.
So, yeah, basically spoiler. We get to see her at the very end, accepting her way into the police academy.
Mm-hmm.
So
they did a great job segueing that.
That they did. All right. Next up. Wow. Christian Milan.
Christina Milian.
Christina Milian. I'm terrible at names. Sorry, everybody. Anyhow, Christina Milian as Maria LaGuerta. Oh.
I stood up and applauded when she busted in on the scene. Again, I'm gonna say this for everyone, but she did her homework, and
she did.
Maria LaGuerta was such a unique character on current day Dexter that she had some big shoes to fill. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw that she was cast as Maria, I was not sure how that was going to work out, but I tip my hat to her. Again, the attitude, the sass, the look, the walk, everything. She killed it.
You know, honestly, she filled those shoes perfectly in comparison to her predecessor, which, if everybody remembers, which was Luna Lauren Velez. And Christina Milian, I didn't realize who she was until I had to research it. And I watched a movie. Now, it was a remake of a movie I loved when I was in high school. Now, I'm an old man. I'm 52 years old. This movie came out when I was 14. The movie was called Just One of the Guys when I was 14. But this movie came out in 2003 called Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Good.
And she did great at that. And I recognized her from that particular movie because what a beautiful, lovely woman this is. Obviously, a different version. We have people who are of Latino and brown descent, which is I'm grateful for when it comes to that movie, when Love Don't Cost a Thing, because it gives it a new light, a new story, and a new look, and people could reference it their own way, and people could see themselves in that.
She did a great job as a younger LaGuerta.
Yeah, she did. I knew that face. I knew her look. I knew who she was. And I thought, she is so young.
Mm-hmm.
But also she's playing a young LaGuerta. But she gives the attitude, the personality, the insistence on things, which is amazing. And it's perfect because she matches the original cast member, which was Luna Lauren Velez. She encapsulates that particular character that Luna actually did. And I'm loving it. I'm like, you are that character.
Yeah.
We're getting these people that are representing those characters that we've seen before in the original series, and they're representing them perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Even Christian Slater. It's like the personality protrudes and comes out. You could negate the idea of like, like Christian Slater, honestly, to me, was the one thing physically, because you're so used to looking at James Remar, But the thing is that they embody the character and they give it a presence that really stands out. And I think that's why they casted the people the way they did.
So next up, we have James Martinez as Angel Batista, and again,
The hat
same
does it.
situation. What I liked most about the way he acted, James Martinez, is how he nailed that unique way of talking and speech that
Yeah.
the current day Batista has. And it sold me because you could see this being a younger Batista physically. Yeah, the resemblance was enough to pass, but the way he portrayed him.
How David Zayas had originally did it, it was amazing. David Zayas was an excellent character. I always thought as Angel, or as Laguerta would say, Angel.
From hell.
So he had the trademark hat at that time and the button-down shirt that was always pushed out. And you knew it was Batista as soon as you saw him.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the personality dead to rights of the character. He killed it. I don't know if we're going to get an Original Sin season before we get the next season, but that's something we'll talk about at the end of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So next up on the list was my favorite. So you tell us who that one is.
Alex Shimizu plays Vince Masuka.
All he had to do was show up and nail that laugh. And not only did he show up and nail that laugh, but he killed it everywhere else too. If the show was on and I was looking away and he was talking, you couldn't have told me that was not the original Vince Masuka. He killed it.
He killed it. He had hair. He has hair now.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is it's like he's still pervy.
Oh, he hasn't changed a bit. Yeah.
He's still the same. He has the laugh that he has as Masuka. And I just love it. It's so funny to see him at this age, young, and then where we see him at the end of the original series. And you saw how he grown as a person too, and him having a daughter. But I thought it was hilarious, the fact that we got to see him in the very beginning and how he started and how he influenced Dexter.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I just love the character. I love the actor who portrays him as this young herself. I do love the original character. And we have to give definite props to C.S. Lee, who played the original Vince Masuka. We love him. Next one up.
Next up is Robbie Attal, who plays Brian Moser.
Mm-hmm.
This one was a surprise.
Yeah.
I did not expect adult Brian Moser
Me
to
neither.
be in the show. And it was something I didn't know I wanted until I saw it. And it was chef's kiss on bringing us those early interactions and showing us how he got to be where he was. But I was impressed solely on the physical appearance. I would believe if you put those two, current day and Robbie Attal, together, that I would believe you that they are actually related to each other. The physical appearance, acting was great, but the physical appearance was just uncanny.
It was uncanny.
So who's our last one here?
Well, the last one would be Camilla Fig.
Played by Sarah Kenzie. Another one that it makes sense that she would be in it, but she's not one I was expecting to have much of a storyline. But when you look at
the history of Dexter,
she did later on, especially how, she covered Harry's rear end so much with Dexter.
Yes.
Great to see her being added, but she also did a really great job of bringing the essence of Camilla to the younger Camilla. I really, hats off to all of them.
This was the impetus or the origin of where Dexter gets his boat from the original series.
Yep.
And Camilla was very much a friend of the Morgans, as well as, of course, with Harry and his wife. And he loved the kids, Dexter and Deborah. So that way, at the very end, we get to see at the end of the season, spoilers, yes, Dexter gets the boat that they had from Camilla. And I thought that was like, chef's kiss. It works out. It was perfect. It's like everything lines up perfectly. The beginning of where's Dexter's journey, as well as Deborah's in the Metro Miami PD. Very good casting and how she looks in comparison to her predecessor, as I should say. Predecessor was, if I could actually find it right now. Oh, yeah. Margot Martindale.
Great actress.
Great actress. Yeah. I do remember because you remember her face. She was in a lot of commercials and a lot of shows during the years in the 90s and into the early 2000s as well. Yeah, we have Margot Martindale, and then at the very end, we have Sarah Kinsey playing that younger version of her, which is amazing too. And both key into the character, which I do enjoy. There's one that you did negate to put in, Becky, and I'm going to throw this in as an honorary entry. That would be Reno Wilson as Bobby Watt. He is very key to this season, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that Harry has an attachment to him. Deborah has an attachment to him. And so does Dexter to some degree. Bobby is literally the godfather to Deborah. And at the very end, for the last 3 episodes, Bobby is in turmoil at that point. And every time I watched the episode, I did not pay attention to Bobby. And the first thing I thought he was Dokes.
A lot of people were asking, is that Dokes? The only reason I knew it wasn't Dokes is because Dokes came in later on in the timeline. So he came in after Harry passed away.
Yes.
So that's the only reason I knew immediately knew he wasn't Dokes.
He's a great character in the sense that he is familiar with the Morgan family. And I'm glad he survived. Yes, spoilers, everybody. He survives. He got shot. And you could see the attachment to the Morgan family to Bobby Watt and the Watt family. And I'm curious to see, does Bobby Watt's family come into play? Be interesting, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's move on. We kind of digressed and we've gone through the whole character list.
Well, we went through the characters that are both current and past. Now there's just a few I want to talk about. We don't have to dive too much into it, but the new cast members that were brought in. First off, we have the amazing Sarah Michelle Gellar, who plays Tanya Martin. She's the chief of forensics. She's Dexter's boss, and who we find out is basically was a mentor for Dexter and helped him along with crazy Masuka grow in the department. And when I saw she was cast in this show, I was so excited because everybody knows her as the amazing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was such a nice, bright addition to an otherwise kind of very dark story. I liked her character, and if we do get a second season, hope she comes back to reprise her role and we continue to see her mentor Dexter and grow as forensics.
Yeah, I really did enjoy this casting with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I always loved her as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I remember that she was in a soap opera with Susan Lucci. Also, she did a Burger King commercial when I was a wee young lad. And I remember so much then. She has a cute smile. She's a very pretty woman. Married to the one, Freddie Prinze Jr. And if I was alone in a room, I would be like, because she's pretty as hell. I was very much interested because the fact that she is a very, really genuine and great actress. She's done other shows too before this, other than Buffy. She did one with Robin Williams, which I loved. And then on top of that, it was a werewolf show.
It was good.
I never watched it. I should watch it.
Good.
Anyhow, The one lovely Sarah Michelle Gellar, she did a great job. I really am looking forward to seeing what we get out of a second season with this particular character because we never really heard of this character, and I really want to see what they do with this character. I'm like, wait, they never ever mentioned this. Masuka never mentioned it. Dexter never mentioned it. Nobody else in the precinct ever has mentioned her before. I'm like, what happened to her? Was she killed?
Yeah.
Did Dexter kill her? Did somebody else kill her? What's going on? I want to see that. I could see this show, this particular series, lasting 3 seasons, and one of the victims, possibly, predictions, everybody, possibly, Tanya Martin, chief
Could
of
be.
forensics. So hopefully it's a better killing that she got in Scream 2. Anyhow,
Who's our next new cast member?
yeah, Becky was not expecting that, everybody. Anyhow, the next guest actor that we know, Patrick Dempsey, who plays Aaron Spencer, captain of homicide for Miami Metro. So we all love Patrick Dempsey. We all knew him when we grew up in the 80s.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah. And Grey's Anatomy, but I liked his addition because we know who the captain of homicide for Miami Metro is in present day,
Yes.
but we don't know anything about who came before him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had liberty to do just about whatever they wanted with this role. And I think the twist that we'll talk about later that came with this guy's character was brilliant. And I also think, Dempsey did a phenomenal job of balancing boss and friend, father, seemingly concerned father, but also the way he commanded the room whenever he walked onto a crime scene. Dempsey just displayed such bossiness.
He had an overall presence that needed
Yes.
as far as like a professional presence of the situation as being the boss. Yeah. It's so funny too, growing up with Patrick Dempsey over the years, because I always saw him as the nerd from Can't Buy Me Love. Then he moved on to other movies like Enchanted movie in 2007. And I was like, oh, he's a pretty boy. Then he was in Grey's Anatomy from 2005 on as Dr. McDreamy, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But as he's gotten older, he's got a lot of sophistication in his looks, how he presents himself, which is very, very cool. And I really do enjoy his work at heart. I do enjoy him as an actor because he could go from one opposite end of the spectrum to the complete other opposite in a heartbeat, and it works. I think he has went over the test of time of showing his chops. So I think he did a lot. And then with this, he shows with age, it works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Dempsey, A+ in my category as far as like characters playing the captain of homicide for Miami Metro.
Next up is Brittany Allen, who plays Laura Moser, Dexter's mom. I really liked her backstory.
Yes.
She was really, really good at showing being a loving mother. And basically she did everything she did to try to provide a better life
Yes.
for her kids. And then the range of emotion that she was able to show, be it strength when she's shaking with fear, or she just such a wide range that I was not expecting when I saw that she was going to be in the show. I didn't think her character was going to be that in the forefront, and I'm glad that she was, because this is a very talented actress, and I think she did a great job as Laura Moser, and I'm glad she got to tell us Laura's story.
Yeah, it's really good. She has done other work. It's so funny if you do a Google search on her, she doesn't show as much as the other cast members, and she was amazing. She put herself on the line. Honestly, she was one of the few cast members that exposed themselves on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And for an actor or actress to do that on the show shows a lot. So more props to her for Miss Allen for doing that. And she's also in a legacy line for the show itself too, because she's playing a character that was played by Sage Kirkpatrick in the original series of the original flashback version of Laura Moser. And I think this was given a more of a dignified look of Laura Moser.
It did. It gave us more of, she was a druggie who,
She wasn't a druggie. She was a former druggie. She was trying to get off.
the way that they portray her, you get a lot more of understanding that she was a strong woman who
Yeah.
really loved her family. We just didn't get that much in current day Dexter. So I was just glad to see her get her story told, but I was also very glad that they chose this particular actress to do it, because I don't know that a lot of others out there could have pulled that off the way that they did.
That is true. And kudos to her to go through the prosthetic moments, because they actually used practical effects, everybody. They had to do a cast of her head and her arms, her legs, her body. Ooh. Oh, to have that in some sort of container full of blood. And I feel bad for the kids that actually had to be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows a lot of strength within the family of those kids, but also for the actress herself to actually donate. Literally, you're donating your body if you think about it. If you're giving a full cast of your face and your head, and it being decapitated and put on screen like that, that is exposing even further, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's scary, but also that's the story of Dexter and what he had to go through. I'm just hoping they shaded those kids.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
I hope so.
So this that segues great into what I'd like to dive into next, is what I thought the show did great, giving us, in addition to what we learned in
The original series,
current day Dexter, but I loved getting the full plan of Dexter, like how he was supposed to go to med school, but it wasn't. And I love how the relationship, it showed how strong his relationship was with Harry, that he was able to tell Harry that that it wasn't working.
That is true.
And how they continued to work to try to find ways to build the code and make it work, and how that ended up, obviously when he saw Masuka at the college fair, he had a natural affinity to forensics.
Yeah.
And I think that was a very natural way for them to get him into Miami Metro to build the story that we got today. I think they did a great job building that story, and then watching him, starting with the nurse, realizing, because you think Harry built the code, but it was truly Dexter and Harry that built that code together.
They did, and it was one thing. And when it came down to the nurse, it got to the point of Harry's life, and I think Harry was utilizing Dexter to the point of, all right, my son can vindicate me and help me in some ways that Miami Metro can't, and this is a way to put his quote unquote gifts into place. And when he gave the okay to Dexter, it was like, okay, you could do this one time, and he did it. Now, mind you, Dexter was sloppy as hell.
Oh yeah, but that was part of the fun. Not fun. Murder is not fun, but it was part of the entertainment to watch him. And Michael C. Hall did a great job with the voiceovers throughout
and description,
giving us the inner thoughts of how he recognized, sorry, I was a bit sloppy on that one. Or when he took her earrings, and he made that, he ended up saying that was his downfall, was the trophies. That's what really screwed him in the end. I really liked the way they did that, and watching him,
fumble.
Harry teaching him, you've got to learn to blend in, and though he's awkward as hell, he's still with Batista taking him under his wing and him, it was fun to watch him learn.
Oh, the best is it being normal with Deborah and Deborah's best friend and her best friend going, "Oh, she's your girlfriend." But Dexter, she gave you a BJ.
Yeah, right.
Oh. It's like he was just like, I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah. And he did handle it very well, but
Well, apparently he did handle it. He did accept it and he liked it.
the breakup was, it
was
looked at how relieved
terrible.
he was with the breakup was.
Oh, he was relieved because he didn't want to have to deal with the personal constraints of having that social life.
And he had no interest in her either. It was definitely not like him.
It was
with Rita.
one-sided.
And even Rita, when he started dating Rita in current day, he was it was very much so he could blend in. And Rita was kind of at a safe distance because she too had her own traumas.
Correct. Yes.
I think Yvonne Strahovski, there was a kinship there with her character. But anyway,
yeah, but Yvonne eventually adapted and moved on to, Buffy and turned into a vampire. And
Yvonne Strahovski was not in Buffy.
She wasn't? I thought
Rita was in Buffy.
That's what I'm saying. Rita.
Right. I'm talking about Yvonne Strahovski, the serial killer.
Oh.
Who ends up dying of cancer.
I'm talking about Rita. Oh, okay.
Dexter's son.
Sorry. All right. I'm moving ahead.
So yeah, it was cool watching him learn from his mistakes.
Yeah.
I also really loved getting to watch the backstory of how Deborah and Dexter's relationship really hasn't changed at all.
No, it
from
hasn't.
Then to now.
Yeah.
But how we get to see more of why she feels the way she feels about Dexter, why Dexter feels the way he does about her, how that relationship, and how regardless of the fact that they are both completely awkward people, they really do have each other's backs. They really do love each other, and they are what I think is one of the truest definitions of family. I loved getting to see that build.
Even though they twisted it in the original series at the last season where Deborah was in love with Dexter, and that was bad writing, everybody. I just love the idea of the loving embrace of brother and sister, whether they're blood relation or not. That's what I liked all the way until about, how many seasons of Dexter were there? There was 7 or 8?
8, I think.
Yeah, so up until season 7, I was fine with everything. And it wasn't until the last season that they started screwing everything up, in my opinion. The one thing they did not bring up in this season, because of Harry's rules, and if we remember from the original series, that we did not get within this season, if you all remember, is Charlotte Rampling, who played Dr. Evelyn Vogel in the original series. We don't get an inkling of how these rules were also helped by Evelyn with Harry to help Dexter's progress. When did this happen? Does this happen now, or does this happen come second season?
That's a good point. And if we get a second season, I do hope that is one of the things I would like to see them expand upon. That was good.
Yeah.
And I also liked getting more of Harry's backstory, because in the show, in the current Dexter, we don't really learn a whole lot about Harry other than he saved Dexter and he had
cheated on his wife. Yeah.
And he died.
And it was a heart condition. We knew that. That's the whole thing.
But he had a kid that drowned in a pool. It really made so much sense, especially given how he feels responsible for the fact that both Brian and Dexter lost their mother, that he felt like he needed to save Dexter. And it's why I think it showed a lot as to his drive, as to why, yes, Dexter there's something not right there, but it wasn't something he just completely dismissed, like with Brian, like I can't save him, but how he wanted so much to save Dexter. It really really added a lot to Harry's backstory, learning about that.
Yeah.
And I was grateful to get to see more flashbacks with him and how Laura came to be as his informant, the relationship they had, how he ended up actually having a relationship with the two boys, the
Yeah.
way that they brought both Brian and Dexter into their home, the having to let Brian go, and why Brian was so hell-bent on finding Dexter, and all the lengths that he went through later on to get into Deborah's life, to get into Dexter's life. It all,
Adds up.
it just was such a perfect full circle moment. I really was really grateful we got that.
And the fact that we see Harry encountering Brian and actually attacking him and telling them to stay away from
and
Dexter.
Brian listened
He listened, but
from a distance.
From a distance, but he actually did encounter Dexter before Harry actually stated that.
At the shop, sandwich shop.
Correct. And he realized it's like, oh, he didn't realize he didn't even call me Biney. If you'll remember that. Sorry, I'm a Dexter fan. And that's how.
Yeah, he didn't recognize him.
He didn't recognize him at all. But the thing is that Harry knew the trademarks and followed it and everything. Like Huerta was on his tail. It was like this typical Dexter trademark in the show itself of hiding evidence that is pertaining to what your personal life is bound to, which is either Dexter, Deborah, or what have you.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfectly, and the writers were very distinct within it. Now, mind you, some of the context and what they did in certain scenes were not very continuous, and I'm not going to get that into that. But I'm sure there are people that are going to go, oh, but this scene didn't add up into the original Dexter, and this didn't do this. We're not doing that.
No. Guys, I think you have to give
some sort of creative license.
Yes, you do, because it can't all be perfect, but what they did do, I was not one bit disappointed with it, and they left me wanting more. But one other thing I wanted to note about what I really liked in the show, they did it during Harry's flashbacks and then in the current 90s timeline, was the fashion and the music.
Oh,
they paid attention.
Yeah.
I loved it. And they could have done whatever they wanted with it, but I appreciate that they took the time to stick with the decades that they were in and did a very good job with it.
Yeah, they were very consistent with all the decades, the music, the media interactions during that time, and it worked well within that timeline. And I really do agree with you with that. The thing that they were very continuous with is like the attention to continuity with detail at certain times, like with the shipping container scenes. But we got a little bit more graphic in this one. So we got to see everything a little bit more graphic, a little bit more detailed based upon Brian, what happened to Dexter, how it really portrayed and how it came out. Because in the original series, all we saw was Remar just running out with a kid on his shoulder. We never saw Brian. We never saw the initial look of bodies, a head on top of a torso and a leg and an arm and everything else with a pool of blood and two children sitting there. Now, to me, that was a little bit more extreme than normal from what they normally did with Showtime. And to me, I think they moved up a notch with that edge because of like shows like Yellow Jackets and other film or other shows that's coming out on Showtime. They're trying to move it up and to gather viewership, but also, actually the predecessor to all of them was all Ash versus the Evil Dead. Nothing can show more than, Mr. Bruce Campbell shoving his head through somebody's body cavity.
Anyway, but they did a good job with it because the whole premise.
I'm making her laugh, everybody, because she knows I'm going extreme.
The whole premise of Dexter being who Dexter is he was born in blood, and they did not in any way stop. They gave you that, but I don't think it was gross and it was graphic, but I don't think it was gratuitous. I don't think it was gratuitous for the sake of Ooh, look at this. It was all of it. I hate to, I don't know if this is the right word, but it was almost artistic.
It was artistic in the sense that it gave like a compassion to the scene and to the characters of what they were going through at that time. It wasn't meant for any comedic format. It wasn't there for any gratuitous or, as I say, exploitative. It was meant to make a point of compassion of what these characters went through either at an early stage or at that point in that moment, whether it be Harry or Dexter when he was a child. And I do agree with you. Yeah, and the one thing that I did take from the show, which I do truly and still love, is the fact that Harry's guidance and struggle of dealing with Dexter throughout the years, because we saw him even younger in flashbacks as a younger child with everything and him having to deal with it and him dealing with his urges even before he became like a teenager or getting out of high school and going into the Miami Metro Police Department.
Yeah. That's all I have on show specifics. Is there anything else?
The finale actually did something really good with Dexter because it showed that he had a humanity, and even Harry points it out at the very end before they have the final dance with Deborah.
Yeah.
He literally did these things because he had compassion for the boy. He didn't take it out on the boy. He didn't kill the boy.
Well, he had a choice, save the boy or go after the bad guy and
Exactly.
get your urges out. And he made the right choice. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it shows that the vigilanteism in it, as I like to say, because literally that's what it is within this. And that's what Dexter was. I don't know if you have ever read the books A Dexter Darkly, because that's what the original series was based on. So, my recommendation to you, the listeners, if you've never read it, have never even saw the show, read the book first, watch the series, the original Dexter series. You can find it on Netflix.
It's so worth it.
And then you could watch this particular series as well as New Blood, and then watch the next one when it comes out, and then follow us on in our continuous journey. So, anyhow.
All right. Well, let's move on to some facts about the show. Upon its release, Dexter Original Sin became Showtime's most streamed premiere with over 2.1 million global cross-platform viewers. That surprised me because I thought Yellow Jackets was going to hold a record for a while. So I was very happy when I saw that because, Dexter's been classic at this point. So I was very excited to see that.
I'm glad that they did that. It shows a testament to the actual show, and the show premiered how long ago?
Oh gosh, let me see. 2006.
Yeah. So it's a long time ago. So you're talking about 19 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still hold dear to it. Do they remember 6 Feet Under on HBO? Probably
They
not.
should. Michael C. Hall is in that show.
Yeah, he is.
And I rewatched it this past year and it still holds up. All right, what's next?
Next up, 68% on the tomatometer. So these are professional, I would say, critics that are out there. So the tomatometer gives it a 68%. The popcorn meter is at 76%. And that's usually the people out there like you and I who rate it on their own because they have Rotten Tomatoes account. And the IMDb rating as of so far is 8.3 out of 10. So that's pretty high.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The first day of filming took place at the Holliver Inlet in Bal Harbor, Florida. They shot there for 10 days in Miami, and then the remainder of the show was shot in LA.
Most interior scenes are shot in CBS Radford Studios.
Few little interesting facts there.
Mm-hmm.
So next we'll jump into show news, and this is when we can dig a little bit deeper into the possibilities. You want to tell us what we've heard about a second season?
A second season? Comic book had a chat with its director, Clyde Phillips, who also serves as showrunner for the spinoff, as well as Dexter seasons 1 to 4 and Dexter New Blood. The discussion centered on the events of Patrick Gibson led series and what's ahead and when the title characters returns. When asked about the journey from the Dexter Original Sin season 1 finale, to original series, Phillips said, "It will become the biggest Easter egg in the world. We need to see him grow in several ways. He'll have to learn how to blend better. He'll have to learn how to kill better and more efficiently." So next season, does he get his boat? Well, we saw that at the very end. He did get his boat, everybody.
Well, when does it become his?
That is true.
Because the name changes of the boat. It's Slice of Pie right now. But it becomes something else when he gets it.
Correct. So he continues on saying, does he get his apartment? So that's a good thing, too, because he gets that one little apartment by the bay. Does he start wearing the Henley? Well, that's confusing to me. I don't know what a Henley is.
It's a shirt. You know that shirt? It's his kill shirt.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. I'm not familiar. See, I'm not a serial killer, so I don't know these. I'm leaving that to Becky. So if you see me missing, everybody blame it on Becky. Anyhow.
Only if I'm wearing a Henley.
Yeah, exactly. Does he start doing the red string thing? Actually, he started it within this season.
I don't remember seeing that.
You don't remember seeing that? He started doing the string thing, and everybody goes, "What a weird freaking thing."
I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and look.
So, all right. Those are the things we're going to explore. It'll be like coming home for the audience with music. Michael C. Hall's voice, which is crucial to the show, which literally it's like without Michael C. Hall's narrative throughout the series or the show, it wouldn't be Dexter.
It adds to it. I think the show could have pulled it off with Patrick Gibson doing it, but it meant a lot more to hear Michael C. Hall. But if they do a second season, I mean, there's enough. Like the questions that he asks there, but also, you know, would be a great chance for us to get to meet the next captain who is going to end up being the captain when Dexter moves up in forensics. What happened to his mentor? It's just there's so much more they could build on. How did Harry die, or when did Harry die? What happened after?
They allude to that. Yeah, they actually allude to that at the very end. Like he even says, "I won't be here forever" to Dexter. And everything is about his diet towards the end because of his issue with his heart.
Right, but I want to see it. I want to see how it all breaks down. And
I think this particular show could last no more than 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We already got season 1. We got 2 more to go to really meld everything in to where it guides right into the original Dexter series. And I think this is going to be a continuous story. We're going to get the next Dexter series, which is the takeoff from New Blood.
That is Dexter Resurrection. And I do have some news on that. According to TV Insider, the sequel series is confirmed to premiere on Paramount Plus with Showtime in the summer of 2025. So not too far from now.
Yep.
Hall will reprise his role as the titular serial killer, but he might not be the only familiar face. And this is where it gets exciting. Hall teased in a Variety interview. There's a whole cast of characters that populate his wider world and have the potential to reemerge. Deadline reported that David Zayas and James Remar will also reprise original Dexter series roles as Angel Batista and Harry Morgan. And Jack Alcott will once again portray Harrison Morgan, Dexter's son.
Awesome.
After portraying him in the sequel series Dexter New Blood. Plus, Deadline revealed that Uma Thurman has joined the series in a regular role as Charlie, a former special ops officer turned security chief for a billionaire named Leon Prater. And the site also reported Peter Dinklage will star as Leon Prater, who is going to be the mega villain of that season.
Interesting.
I know.
Honestly, I'm getting all excited about David Zayas because I love Angel.
He's so great. And I love they brought him back in New Blood too.
Yeah, I love that too. I was like, when I saw him, I was like, oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And honestly, that was like, what, 3 years ago, everybody? But I was like, oh my God, Angel Batista. And then James Remar, our original Hicks from Aliens, obviously, sorry. But we get those two. And then on top of that, Uma Thurman.
I know.
Amazing.
Peter Dinklage,
And Peter Dinklage.
amazing.
Wow.
No, he's great.
I love him as an actor. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing person, from what I'm told. So I'm looking forward to that, and I would not be surprised that we do get a season 1 of Dexter Original Sin. We get this new Dexter in between. We get another version of Dexter Original Sin.
Yeah, I hope it keeps going.
Who knows? If it keeps going, it'd be great, because Michael C. Hall is executive producer to all this stuff, and he had a lot of this stuff in place, and he was doing conventions. And Becky, our friend Jamie Dimmick, actually went and met Mr. Michael C. Hall, and he had mentioned Dexter Original Sin, and he goes, oh yeah, there's also another show.
That's great.
So he was mentioning that a while back at conventions.
So, feedback. I have been planning this for weeks, but for whatever reason, it's like, oh crap, yesterday I didn't put up a feedback post. So we did get a little bit. We got our dear friend Steve Brown left us a voicemail. Curious to hear what he had to say about that season. So
Hello, Mark and Becky. This is Steve, and this is about Dexter Original Sin. I loved it, man. I watched the whole series, and it's interesting that it actually coincided closely with my rewatch of the original Dexter series. So I saw a lot of the elements, such as Dexter's first killing being the nurse who poisoned his dad and saved his dad's life. In the Dexter series played by Denise Crosby, I don't remember who the actress was who played her in Dexter Original Sin, but it was great to see that replayed the way it was. And I just absolutely loved the whole homage they played to all of the things from the original series that, again, like I said, this Original Sin coincided with me rewatching the original series. So it was kind of cool that I was able to see a lot of the parallels and a lot of similarities. The one thing that kept bothering me until the very end, and I hope this is a spoiler-full podcast because it was one thing that kept bugging me, was in the Dexter original series, whenever we see Harry find Dexter and his brother in the cargo container, he's in uniform. And in the Dexter Original Sin, he's already a plainclothes detective. And so I was thinking the timing was wrong. Now, there is a little bit of issue with the fact that everybody is 20 years younger or 15, whatever the time frame difference is between the Original Sin and the original series. But they explained it in the second to last episode or the last episode of Original Sin that he made a blunder that caused a case to go awry. And so his captain, Patrick Dempsey, made him wear plainclothes for the search of the cargo container. So that's why he was in uniform for the cargo container finding of Dexter and Brian. Anyway, absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it. Talk to you later.
thank you, Steve. You are such a loyal listener, and we appreciate you so much. If you all would like to leave us some feedback or say hi, you can send us a voice message as an attachment to what's on tonight 2 at gmail.com. And that's what's on tonight, the number 2 at gmail.com. You can visit our Facebook page where there will be a post for the next episode, and you can leave feedback in the comment section or send us a message through Facebook or Instagram Messenger. We can also be found on Instagram as well at What's On Tonight Podcast and the number 2. We can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, Deezer, whatever podcast player of choice that you use. If ratings are available, please give us one, preferably a good one, or give us a review on one of those platforms. We would always greatly appreciate it if you leave a comment, like, and or share on your podcast listening app of choice. So, Mr. Mark, Agent Mark, where can listeners hear you?
Well, I can be found on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, where we do action, adventure, fantasy, thrilling suspense films, and TV shows at times.
Mhm.
we have to get back to Mayfair Witches, everybody.
Yes, we do.
So the last thing that we have actually out there is Lethal Weapon 2. I'm actually trying to work on Lethal Weapon 3 and a couple other movies that I want to get out there with some friends. But we're going to wrap up, what was it, season 2 of Mayfair Witches with the Vamcast. And we're going to get that underway. You could also hear me on Panels to Pixels podcast. As always, we are going to do we're going to finalize Invincible, which is now on Amazon Prime. So Invincible, Mr. Robert Kirkman's Invincible. So we're going to finish that up soon. And then Daredevil Born Again will be coming out. And then we're going to do an interim overall season review of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And then after Daredevil, well, whatever show comes our way, we might go into Creature Commandos that came out already, but do our season review of that. And then whatever comes out DC wise, because there is so much going out there that's adapted from comics to movies, TV, and animation. So look out for that. And as well as the Pirate Core Music Podcast, which you and I had already done the Jagged Little Pill coverage for Alanis Morissette, and to start off that particular podcast. And then next up would be Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses with our friend Rima Joe.
Awesome. Well, I can be found here on What's On Tonight podcast, as well as Adrenaline Cinema podcast that Mark mentioned, and on occasion, Panels to Pixels podcast. For those of you who watched the movie The Gorge, Mark and I did our coverage of that movie, which was a surprisingly good movie, on Adrenaline Cinema podcast. I did share that on our What's On Tonight podcast page. And Mark was talking about his coverage of Lethal Weapon. Steve, who you heard the voicemail from, and Mark did a really great job of covering Lethal Weapon 2. And that can be found on Adrenaline Cinema, like he said. So check out all of those pages. I think there's something for everyone. So please check them all out. And I want to give a big thank you to my special guest, Mark. He is the leader of Pirate Core Entertainment, and how much we appreciate you giving us this platform. Please visit the Pirate Core website. It's still under construction, but you can find it on our Facebook page. And there you'll find out about our podcast, as well as other podcasts like the Slay Lounge podcast with Billy and Will, who I hear should be having some new content out soon. And you can also find out other projects that Mark is working on.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our coverage of season 1 of Dexter Original Sin. Becky and Mandy will be back to resume their coverage of The Pit soon. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And to quote Dexter himself, we create our own destiny every day we live. So go out there and live your life to the fullest. I'm Becky.
And I'm Mark.
We'll catch you next week when we grab the remote and see what's on tonight. Bye.
Now, where's those garbage bags?